Thanks for staying with us. A 200-level student of the Ajayi Crowther University in Oyo State, identified as Alex Timileyin, was allegedly beaten to death by a group of students for allegedly stealing a mobile phone. According to the report, the deceased was beaten from 6 p.m. to, I think it was 10 p.m. actually, to 10 a.m. in the morning on Saturday. He was also to have had his hair forcefully shaved off by the students. Now, this story went viral, caught a lot of parents by shock. Many people were really shocked to see the story. It was a very, very painful report to read, especially when most of us had experienced this happening many years ago with the Alu 4. We've been speaking against jungle justice. We've been speaking against self-help. And this is so painful because there were pictures of even when he started school and he was there with his mother, you know, and this, we now found that there's also possibly a first cousin to a king in Warri. And these are all just emotions across Nigeria, really painful emotions at this time because of the death of this young boy. Now, what are your thoughts on the story and the happenings afterwards? You can call us on 081 0764 1679 090 241 63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. I mean, I don't even know where to start because this was very, there's no two ways of looking at this. It's just a one-way street. Yes. This was awful, it was bad, it was horrific, and it's a painful thing to happen to anybody. Let me, who would like to go?
The first question I want to ask is, you see, for you to do that kind of, or give that kind of beating to one person, there must have been noise. The university, they don't have security. They don't have people loitering around because there must have been a lot of noise. It couldn't have been done. You don't kill a person quietly like that unless you use a gun. Even the gun will make noise unless he has silence. How many guns in Nigeria?
To respond to you, Waiki, I didn't go to a Nigerian school, but I know people who have told me stories. When boys want to deal with you, they will deal with you where either they will take you to somewhere very, very secluded, because they know teachers will be roaming about. Those guys probably did that at 10 p.m. and I know that nobody's going to be around. There are different ways. And even jungle justice, sometimes they will pull you away to, in a way where security operatives cannot catch you. So there are different ways. When boys want to deal with something, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that if we want to be realistic, so these boys with these premeditated intentions, they always know how to go about it, such that teachers, parents, people won't be able to scream or get help. But that's on one end. But let me come to you, Nima. I
went to a Nigerian university at the time when cultism was at the height of it. I remember being in the gutter throughout a shooting in school by the roundabout in Lasu, lying flat on my stomach, colon daily, that kind of mentality. If I make it home, I will not come to school tomorrow. But I graduated. And I have seen this kind of thing. So the only allegation here, the only thing that needs to be proved here is that the boy even stole the phone. I believe he was planted. It was a setup because I have seen that style of thing happening. I believe those boys are cultists trying to initiate an innocent boy who is not willing to join. It was tough those days, trying to get somebody to say, leave me, I don't want to belong to anything. They will frame him up. Because I don't understand how 6 boys think it was okay beating a human being for hours. I used to see those kind of trying to say, oh, teaching phone back then in school. They would drag the person from the end of school out to the other end of school because the security will say they are dealing with him for stealing. They will now be lax. Before they had to, upgrade things in school. These things were a normal set of things. Now, Waike was talking about how is it possible that, a boy was beaten and nobody turned around to stop them. Because the security are usually part of them. The school cannot even wash their hands clean for me. What I have seen in this my young age, that school, whoever is the CSO of that school, the people who are patrolling school at night, because this school they stay, unlike last week we didn't have hostels, when school closes by night. This school has a 24-hour hostel system. Somebody should be on duty. Not only those 6 boys should be picked, somebody should be picked for negligence. If you don't do your duty, your job well, So you should be paying for it because you know you just failed someone. The school hostel is a big hostel that will house more than 7 boys at once. Other people heard this beating. And they didn't think it was time to report it.
Nima, I don't want us to paint the story in a way that suits our own thinking, because there are different ways narratives you can take. Okay, even if he stole a phone, because that's the report we're having, it would be nice to assume he didn't. But even if he did, he didn't deserve that kind of beating, number one. Number two, I hear I've been to University of Ife, and I know how big that university is. And I know how they can drag somebody in the bush and beat, and nobody will patrol anywhere. There's no way you can patrol everywhere of a university. It's not a secondary school that our teachers will be passing about. This is a university. So we can look at it from different angles. But I hear you, we have a point, but there are other ways of looking at it. But let me come to you, talk about your thoughts.
We also have a culture of looking away. We have a culture of, I don't want to put my mouth inside. It's not my business. We have a culture of, I don't want to choke my head and then they will now hit my own head with the stick. So that culture of looking away could have played out in this situation where people heard and people are just, I don't want to be, it's not my business. I don't want to get involved. And until we start getting more, until everybody starts taking ownership and getting involved, this boy could have been beaten but not have died if a few people decided to do bebonu and get involved. You will hear a noise and you will look away like, I don't want, it's not my story. I don't want
to be screaming.
Yes, obviously, for someone to die from beating, he would have screamed at some point. Somebody would have heard and just turned away. And those that turn away are as guilty as those who killed, because your speaking up could have saved a life. Onlookers, the videos that showed up, somebody recorded, pictures that somebody recorded, everybody that saw what happened there. I know that the police are going to do their investigation. Those boys will be charged to courts as, is it accessory to murder or even that they carried out murder? Because it wasn't their actions led to his death. But beyond that is the fact that for a group of boys to beat up one boy over a stolen phone, those group of boys already displayed ability to beat, ability to be vengeful. They would have this. It doesn't just happen one day. These boys, they would have seen traits in those boys. You know boys that when you see them, everybody respect themselves around him, but we don't talk about it. We don't deal with the issue.
Thank you very much. That's probably what led to the fact that they will choose to look away, because these boys are very notorious for this behavior. I don't want them to say it was me that went to go and rat them out.
But you call now, you report it now. There must be a system.
That's why I said they are just
where
as guilty.
Where you can report it. Now, what we are missing here is the accusation. So when somebody says, Naim thief that thing, or it happens in the marketplace, you just point at somebody, he stole pennies, he stole something. And just say, he committed a crime. Whatever he see, he deserves.
Can you remember that woman that they beat? They said she stole his penis. Can you remember the woman, one old woman?
Yes.
It happened to my welder about 2 weeks ago. He was he was in Agege or somewhere like that, and the guy just held him. You have taken my thing. You have held his own thing. You have taken my thing. You have taken my thing. Before he knew it, they had carried his phone. He said he was just thanking his God that they didn't kill him.
All right, let me. I'm told that we might have to be breaking up very soon. So I'd like to inform our audience that very soon we will be breaking away from our regular programming to go to Gusau, Zamfara State for the live broadcast of the inauguration of the UBA Junction Freedom Square Township Road by Governor Dauda Lawal. Our regular programs continue on UK channels on Sky 534, while our viewers in Nigeria watching TVC News can continue watching your view on our YouTube channel at TVC News Nigeria. For our terrestrial viewers, remain on GoTV channel 16 and Star Times channel 121. Okay, so continue, YK, you're saying.
So you see, when he was telling me the story, I was like, this is how they set people up.
All the time.
This is how they set people up. And it's either they want to steal or they have they have a vengeful, who has escaped me, you know. This person offended me, let me, you know. We have to stop that jungle justice. We have to stop it.
We must get... let's talk about the police, because sometimes it will be easy for you to take somebody to the police and report the situation. But when you take somebody to the police, if I catch somebody with my phone, the right action is to take the person to the police and say, oh, I caught this person stealing and all of that. You would expect there will be a proper, like the process will be seamless, but you that you took the person to the police might end up getting in trouble. Or the person that, you know, say I'm not doing the case again, it now turns into something bigger than it is. I have a situation at hand that they've arrested a boy, and we are right now struggling. Like everybody has said, we're not doing the case again. The police said he's in prison. The prison said they don't have fuel. He did not enter the bus. They've still been in custody since. They did not steal. They were just caught. They were beaten black and blue. They were taken to the police station. There was no case written on them. They spent 1 month in prison, and they have not gotten to court once to hear their case. Like, they keep posting and posting. 1 month in prison. The person that took them to police said, we've caught the people. These people are not involved. Oh, yeah, they say we cannot release them anymore until they go to court. Oh, yeah, bring them to court. They have not brought them to court. They've missed 2 appointments in court because of one excuse or the other. So the person
police are saying they cannot release somebody don't charge to court.
The prison people said the bus was full the first day. The second time, they said there was no way to carry them. So they did not get to court twice. So you are seeing some small things that will make you say, following, if these people are actually guilty, you feel like they can escape after 5-6 years.
You won't get justice.
Because justice system, even for someone like innocent, it does not happen. For guilty person, it does not happen. So when you follow the rule of law, it is frustrating for those involved. So why would you want to voluntarily go to the person and say,
there's no perfect justice system anywhere in the world. If there was, you will not see people doing 39 years in prison only to find out that there was really no rape that happened. Blacks in America. In the UK, you find out, you know, there's no perfect justice system in the world, but the justice system that you have is still better than, you know, this one that you take laws into your hands. I don't believe that, you know, every of the mob action we see are truly proven cases of criminality. Anybody can accuse anybody. I cannot like white hair now. Your hair is fuller than my own. And I will start to accuse you.
Let me take this call. Yakub has been holding for a while. Good morning, Yakub. Sorry for keeping you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
For me, the question is this. Moran, you mentioned the University of Ife with their landmarks. The question is, what was landmarks of Ajayi Crowther University?
We don't know.
Because I stand to be corrected. This is a private university. Yes. But for me, I don't believe this guy is stealing anything. Because they were trying to imitate this guy. Maybe the guy was not agree with them. And then they resorted being beating him up to the point of death. So, Morayo, the question now again is this. When these people now, they were already arrested, I'm very sure your few will be due diligent and follow this case up. Are you getting me? I don't know if you are hearing me.
Very clearly.
You need to follow this case up because we only had this kind of a thing. At the end of the day, we don't know how the case ends. You get it? So these people must be brought to book. And then, Sister Yeni, your brotherhood that you mentioned, I can tell you for the fact, this is another style in, what is it called, Pen Cinema style. They did that to rob your brother. It's not because they want to do anything. They don't do it because it's a group of people. If you go to Pennsylvania today, very close to that bridge, they will just close to you. One person will just come from nowhere. Drag you, say you don't take my tea. Before you know, all things that's in your body, they will take it away from you. At the end of the day, you will not tell anybody again. That's another side there. Thank you. Good morning.
You see, we have to see. Well, I wanted to go back to what Tokwe said earlier because it's really, I agree, Nima, that our justice system cannot be perfect. But we must really be true to ourselves, where we are as a nation. That can we at this moment wait for this system to do right by Nigerians? Because we were taking the paper review where somebody in the Benin Kingdom was went to the same court to get justice because he felt maybe he was wronged or maybe he didn't agree with what happened in the system in their own internal system with the chiefs and with the Obaship. And then he went to court and then he was accused. Why would you go to the court? That he was an abomination. He says for you to do that. But the truth is that sometimes people feel the need. Should we then have ways where we can administer justice aside from the courts? Is there a way that we can do it such that people get justice? Because where we are right now, we have so many Nigerians, so many citizens, we cannot accommodate all the problems that is brought to the courts in good timing. So maybe we should start finding other measures, other ways of resolving some of these issues so that people feel that, yes, when I bring an issue to the system, it is resolved.
It has to be the system or nothing for me. So there are traditional matters. Matters of royalty, what happens within the palace, the kingdom, leave to Oba. But when we come to who steal phone, who steal money, what happened, what?
In the olden days, it still goes to the Oba.
It shouldn't go to the Oba anymore because we have a constitution. If the Oba were to decide on a matter, can he decide the life or death of a person over such matter? He cannot now. Because that person has to go somewhere where he is properly heard. The principle of natural justice is that a person is heard no matter what. Just last Saturday, one of my staff came home and said she was defrauded of 25,000. How come? What happened? The story just didn't add up. It felt like she just, arranged something and gave my money out. What I simply did, I couldn't, because of schedule, get to the place to see the cameras. So I waited till this Saturday and went with my husband, begging him, let's just go and view what happened. And when we saw what happened, we saw where she played. That extent to see whether or not her allegation is true, even though what she had said initially sounded like she stole. You exhaust all those possibilities before you can fully say this is what you're doing. To carry out any form of vengeance by yourself, or no, to mete out any kind of remedy by yourself can be an injustice in any way to that person. Imagine these 6 boys. Which authority in a school? That means they themselves have not even, they didn't fill a form. There's an anti-cult form you must fill in my own university where I went before you are given admission. As you are paying your acceptance fee, you are filling the anti-cult form. You will take it to court, to get a notary on it. If you come back and something happens within that school, it means that those students didn't fill that form. They don't know that there's a school administration. They don't know they have a dean of student affairs. If there was a stealing and anybody can even prove it, all of you gather to student affairs and go and say what happened.
Exactly.
How come all of you lock your doors, lock up your schoolmates, a 200 level adult? You start to beat them now, Nabonam. As in how?
So I hear.
Sorry, I don't believe in the death sentence, but in this situation,
all of them.
It's really honestly sad. For me, I feel that
they should face what they meted out.
There are different scenarios here. There is a case of, it might be a cultist case. Maybe they are trying to initiate him and he did not agree. That's why they set him up.
Make an example of him to other people.
It might also be a case of, he actually stole a phone. Who are now these people that are supposed to mete out justice and then the justice went out of hand? Or it might be a case of they set him up just because of something that has nothing to do with cultists. Whichever scenario happens within the situation, my heart goes out to the family, because when I was in Asaba, I met a lady who was recounting how she lost, why she's so ambitious and why she feels she needs to keep on teaching and educating people and because she lost her younger brother who was lynched. He said her younger brother was trying to put food on the table. Like, a younger brother was trying to put food on the table because they were really, really poor and rolled with the wrong crowd. Just as a way of, let's be hustling. But they don't know they were going to steal. So he found out that they stole. And because he was guilty and he knew the person they stole for, he took what they stole and took it back to the woman. And the woman shouted, "Ole, ole, ole." The boy took it back, and the next thing, they beat him up, put tire and burnt him. And she saw it happen. And these things happen. Now, this is me recounting a story of someone who saw a younger brother being burnt to death. And jungle justice, we've said on this show several times, does not solve any long-term problem. It might make us feel like we have done something, but for everybody that is carrying out jungle justice, a part of you, the human part of you, lives. So these children need to be dealt with.
So it's so sad that parents sent children to school, and then you killed one, and all of them have been affected, because all I don't know, 6 or 5, I saw 5, but you said 6 of them. All of them have been affected. Totally put a halt. In that moment, that's your 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Beating up that child, killing that child. All of you have just subjected your life to a totally different trajectory for in the next few years. And it's so painful for parents to even see that happening. And it's a private university you think would be somewhat safer. than public universities, but this is the case really sad. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up on this.
I think we should use it to speak to, if they call you children, if they call you to join court and you don't want, go and report quickly.
Quickly, oh. Go to your
Or tell your parents so that they remove you from that university.
Yes,
it's true.
Don't go back to school. Then we as parents that we are raising our kids, can we start telling our kids, any group of evil-minded kids, know how to excuse yourself. Don't be a part of it. You know, how do these 6 complete themselves? They came from some parents' homes. 2, 3 children will be playing. You would have kicked one, that maybe one bumped into one, that one is down. The other kids will continue playing. Why don't you people stop and, you know, lift the other one? Yeah. How did 6 of them from different homes conspire to carry out this kind of evil? Which kind of upbringing did they have?
You know, they should even go and call the parents of the 6 boys. But how did you bring up these children? How did you bring up these children? Because, you know,
adults.
In our house, my brother is bringing up young teenagers, and I know how he's stressing. Because 2 are boys. You know, one is a guy, and I know the kind of... So where are you? Where are these parents?
You know, when kids go into the university, they always think they're adults. They think they can make their own decisions. Nobody can really tell them what to do. And even the teachers become their parties sometimes. You know, you just talk to your professors anyhow. So we really need to come back to the drawing board on how these kids are raised. How much independence do you really give a child? How much independence do you have? How much decisions, or what kind of decisions can he make on his own? You know. So even though I was in university, but I had my brother who was constantly always checking up on me, making sure that everything is okay. So I had a check. But some of these guys feel that they answer to nobody. They're big boys. They answer to nobody. So we really need to check these things in universities. And also, there's something that Tokwe said that I wanted to go back to. This issue of ensuring justice is served. Even in our homes, when you have 3, 4 children, and one says, "Mommy, John slapped me. Sorry. And now say, Cynthia beats me. You don't do anything about it. Afterwards, they start beating each other. You don't address it. So it happens when all of us, when we see a problem, let's have a concluded ending to the situation in every situation. Because when you don't do that, kids begin to believe that it's okay for me to take matters into my own hands, and they grow up with that. Look, I'll slap your face, I'll beat you, and they keep doing it to themselves. So it goes back to what happened in the university here.
Is always beating his sister. We call him. So should I beat you like when you are beating your sister? You stop it. You stop it immediately. Punish the child. Spare the rod and spoil the child.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on this. But really, really, our heart goes out to this young man, Alex.
He's the only son of his mom, according to what I read on Twitter. Only son of his mom. I think only child. Some wrote the report.
Devastated.
So you see, she took him to school. There are pictures of both of them. It's just so sad. This is not a conversation. It's just so sad.
It's just painful. And I don't know if you can confirm he's a prince, but also to the entire royal family.
It was said, Ajayi made a video confirming that he's a prince of the kingdom. He's a cousin to the present Ogame of Ishekiri land. And they are also threatening that if justice is not served, everything will go down.
All right, that is all we can take on this segment. May our hearts definitely go out to the family, and may his soul rest in peace. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.